Welcome back, everyone, to Around the Table. We're so glad to have you with us again for, I don't know what episode this is. We're just glad that you're with us. Today, we're going to talk about something really important for all of us as women, but also just as people in general. And that is, the question is, who believed in you throughout your life, whether it's now, whether it's your childhood, whether it's as an adult, it doesn't matter. We want to dive into the conversation of who believed in you. So, JoJo.
Oh, don't start with me.
Okay, Jiffy. Oh. You want me to start? No, just kidding. You go, Jiff.
Start with me.
You start, Jiff. Yeah, go ahead, Jiff.
So the question is, who believed in you?
Yeah, who believed in you, Jiff? And just like, let me phrase it this way. Did you have someone believe in you as a child all throughout your life, or did that come into your life as an adult?
That is such a good question. And I think it's such an important topic for us to be discussing. Yes. So I would say my childhood, I had a big family, a lot of aunts and uncles, lots of grandmothers. I actually only had one grandmother, but she was like the matriarch of the family, so she was a lot. But she was amazing. And I was more of the shy child out of all of us cousins. So I was the one that
shocking.
I know.
That is shocking.
I kind of
what?
I grew out of it.
Shocking.
But I was. I mean, I would hide behind my mother's skirts, and my grandmother was actually worried about it and was like giving my mom the wrong advice. But so I was the shy one. I was the first girl, so I got dressed up a lot and I got kind of presented a lot, but I was super shy. So I don't know. I think I came from a loving family. They all loved us all equally, but I don't remember feeling like, wow, these people believe in me until when I was in high school. So right when I started high school, ninth grade, I joined a youth group. My mom had brought us to a brand new church that was going to go on to being one of the mega churches in the area. And but the youth group was tiny. And the pastor had a great vision for youth, and the head pastor really wanted a good, solid youth group. And so he hired an amazing man. You guys maybe have heard of him. His name's Jim Burns. So shout out to Jim Burns. Wow. He went on to do a lot of youth ministry, and he wrote a book called Parenting Adult Children. Keep the welcome mat out and your mouth shut.
I've seen that.
Amazing book. Yeah.
Good advice.
Great title.
Yeah. Anyway, he was my youth pastor when I was this brace-faced, ninth grade little skinny girl with teeny tiny skinny legs and that awkward stage. And I came in and he had this amazing staff. I had an amazing woman named Robin Webster who took me under her wing. She was on the staff and she would meet with me. She would pick me up from school. We'd go get a Coke and she taught me how to read the word, how to pray, what it meant to walk with Jesus. Yeah. And I felt like in that time, these youth leaders were the first ones that saw me and like, we see the gold in you. We see the value of you. We see like the image of God in you, and we're going to pull that out.
Yes.
Wow. And they put me in leadership positions, and it was just that season of discipleship. And those were people that believed in me and saw things in me, which I think really helped me grow out of my shyness.
Yeah.
Because I was the one that was like, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to have attention drawn to me.
Yeah.
And they really believing in me and seeing Jesus in me.
Yes.
They brought that out.
Yeah.
So that's one for sure.
I think, our families always leave such a powerful imprint on our lives, right? Yes. I mean, every family has their own story.
Yes.
And, but I feel like it isn't until really like your adulthood where you really start really experiencing people pulling things out of you, you know? I mean, I think for me, it was when Doug and I got married. And believe it or not, I was also very shy too. Or maybe not even shy, just like maybe even just a little shut down. And it was him like being my greatest champion in life to, he just pulled, like you said, he pulled out the gold in me and people when I share with people, you know, that I used to be very shy and kind of quiet, they're like, wait, what? You're not. But it's true. I mean, I was, and I think it was just because I hadn't found my voice, you know. And I'm so thankful for Doug for pulling that out of me. What about you, JoJo?
So cool.
Yeah.
I know. In thinking about this topic, I feel like there's touch points in my life, you know, from young ages, you know, through junior high, high school, just these certain individuals. And I'm sure we can all think of certain individuals in different seasons of our life that really believed in us, like you were saying, and it actually changed the trajectory of our life, right? So for me, mine's kind of a funny story, but in my growing up years, you know, it was a very kind of there was a lot of chaos in our growing up situation, and you know, good and bad, but there's just a lot going on all the time. But my anchor really became my friend group, because our you know, there was just things about the friends in my life that were super significant to me.
Yeah.
So I had a friend in high school, right after high school, who said, and I know you guys are gonna laugh. Don't laugh. No, just kidding. But she said, I think you should enter this pageant. We had a local pageant.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? And she's like, yes, you need to enter this pageant. And so not knowing what I wanted to do with my life at that point, and not really kind of college bound, I was like, okay, you know, I grew up as, you know, danced and did theater and all these things. I was like, yeah, I'll do a pageant. So did this local beauty pageant, won.
Yeah, you did.
Which
Princess JoJo.
I know, it's hilarious.
Princess.
So, but it was like a significant year in the town. So it's like their centennial year. So it's just kind of like a bigger experience than I think maybe a normal year might have been. And in that journey of being a part of that world, which, you know, I know as we think of Miss Congeniality, you know, the funny movie, you know, the things about like, it's not just about beauty. And I literally will say it's not just about that. It wasn't about that for me. It was about so many other things. But what happened in that experience is I met another girl who was a part of the pageant, and her name was Jacqueline. And I remember her speaking to me, and she was very, you know, beautiful and just so sweet and loved the Lord. And she said, well, where are you going to college? And I was like, well, I'm not going. And she's like, what do you mean you're not going? And I was like, well, I don't really think I'm smart enough to go. And she's like, like basically was like, let's just stop right there. Like, what are you talking about? You were absolutely meant to go and finish your education if that's what you want to do, and to go to higher education. And I always had, but I had a belief because of some things that had happened in my growing up years with teachers and, you know, education and all of that, and things that people speak over you, that I didn't believe that. But she spoke into me and she said, you are going to college. If that is your heart's desire, you're going, and you need to go. And I believe in you.
Yeah.
And because of her words and because of her saying that to me, I literally, something rose up in me and I thought, oh, wow, maybe I could do this. And you know, ended up the first out of my family to apply and go to a 4-year college, you know, and actually finish and go into an educational experience that I'd always wanted. So that was a pivotal moment, because all of that really changed the trajectory of not just my own personal life, but that's where I met my husband.
Right.
And that's where I met significant relationships, was from being a part of believing, someone believing in me, and then me taking a hold of that and believing in myself enough to step into their faith and pulling out that gold in you. Like, I see this in you and you can do this.
That's so powerful. I love that. It's the last episode that we had about words matter, you know, and just our beliefs and our narratives that we just can learn throughout life, you know. And the lady, what was her name?
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline said,
I love that name too.
wait, that's basically, she squelched a lie.
Yes.
Right.
You know, and had she not done that, then the trajectory of your life would have looked completely different.
Completely different.
And that kind of leads us into, you know, if we haven't been championed, right? Or believed in, you know, I know for me, I'm not saying it wasn't believed in, but I know I made a decision at a very young age that I would do the opposite
Right.
of what I saw people walk through. And there were seasons in my life, and I'm sure yours and yours, where, I come from a divorced family. And so you kind of have to learn your own footing in a lot of ways. I decided at a very young age that I would champion others. Even if no one believed in me, I would champion others in their life and walk things out with people. Can you give us an example, Jeff, of how you have done that for people? I feel like you do that with the school board ladies.
Yeah, I think it is so critical, like what you're saying, is for us to just be aware that we can champion someone.
Yes.
And it could change their life.
Yes.
Like we can, and sometimes I'll see something in someone, but I think, well, of course they know that about themselves. Well, of course, like I'm thinking of Jacqueline, our beautiful friend, worship leader. Like, well, of course she knows she has a beautiful voice, of course she knows. But we don't always know about ourselves, or there can always be an insecurity. And to have somebody come in and say, hey, I see this in you.
Yeah.
And I want to help you with this.
Yes.
And I do feel like I'm doing that. That's part of what I'm doing on the school board with the other ladies, even the ones that maybe we aren't totally aligned on values or whatever, but building that bridge to say, wow, she's really good at this. I'm going to champion that. Or when I started teaching, I can think of, there were two gals that taught at my school back in the day, and they were kind of challenging to work with. They were challenging a little bit for the administration and when you're in a situation, I'm sure you both know this, of like, especially a work situation where you think, this person's going to be rough, and I have to work with them.
Yeah.
And I did make the decision with this one gal, like, she's either going to be an enemy and make my life really hard every day, or I'm going to make her a friend.
Yeah.
And so I just chose to make her a friend.
Yeah.
And it actually did shift what was going on. And I did, try to pull out the gold and try to encourage her, like, you're so good at this. What do you think of this? Because really, what does everybody need? They need to be seen and valued, right? That's what everybody's missing.
Believed in is huge.
Yeah.
Having others who believe in you, because, we can, because of life experiences, usually we all know no life is perfect. So we all have our narrative, we all have our filter, but to have people who are speaking the truth to us and actually believing in us it does change so much about what we go after and what we choose to invest in ourselves and other people and how we choose to live our life. And it makes a huge difference.
It does.
It really does.
Yeah. When someone believes in you, don't you just feel like you can stand
100%.
up,
Absolutely.
straighten your shoulders and like, I can do this.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to give a shout out to our girl Joanne here right now, because when I was thinking about this topic and like who believed in you, you came to mind for sure. Because a few years back, just wanting to get involved in women's ministry and just always having a passion to minister to women and to come alongside women, I was sharing it with a mutual friend that Joanne and I share. And she said, you need to tell Joanne and Joanne and be part of Kingdom Women. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. And we didn't know each other super well, but I did. And I was like, I'd love to be part of Kingdom Women. And she just scooped me up literally and was like, then come be part of Kingdom Women. And you saw me, like you saw, oh, Jiff can write. Let's make her. And she would put me in positions like, you're going to write our Instagram. How about that? I was like, okay, but she did it. And guess what? You're going to share your testimony at the next conference. And she put a microphone in my hand and put me on the stage. And in collaboration with all the leadership.
Right.
But that is something that you do for people, is that you're really good. And I watch you do that, and it encourages me to do it as well. Like, wow, you're really good at seeing the gold in people and then going after that with them. Like, hey, I see this in you. I want to champion this, whatever. Yeah. You totally did that for me, which then as I'm like writing for Kingdom Women, as I'm writing the Instagram, writing the discipleship, speaking at events, I grow more into who I'm called to be, right? And that's what it does for us is when someone believes. And then I was able to step into this even bigger, not bigger, better, but just a totally different world of
arena.
politics and campaigning and government, where it was like, I can do this, I can speak in front of people. I can, so thank you for believing in me.
Of course. Aw. It was, I mean, that's like probably one of the things, and I think, Robin, you're a lot the same. We're twinners in this way, that, I mean, it's one of my greatest joys, you know, and I love, because I know what it did for me.
Yeah.
So it's one of my greatest joys is to see the gold in someone and to call that out. And that's really true friendship. That's really being women who walk well with the Lord and who care about the things that matter with relationships and others in our life is we want to do that for each other, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what matters. And so for me, it's easy to do. Like that's like an easy thing. But it touches my heart that that meant so much to you, you know, and that it helped you kind of step into this incredible new space and sphere of influence that you're in right now, you know, which is part of what happens in the kingdom, right? It's building unto the next thing.
And it is totally what you do too.
Absolutely.
And we've both watched you, like we all got our nails done together, and you walked in, Joanna and I were already sitting there, and you walked into the nail place and you knew everybody's name. And you were like, Nancy, you look beautiful. I love your dress. And Joanna and I are like, she knows everybody in here. So it is one of my favorite things about you that you see people and people are drawn to you because of that. And I've even seen with you, like the companies that you work with and how you've believed in Holden and how you've believed in the other family that you're working with. And in turn, they believe in you and they trust you with really, really big, important things. Yeah. So it's been super powerful for all of us.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's so true.
I think I've just kind of made it a life motto or core value, I should say, is that, you know, just always reflecting back on my life and recognizing like who did see me, you know, and living out of that space. Like my grandfather, for instance, I worked with him every summer in his jewelry store, and we hung out, and he actually modeled that, where every place he went in a restaurant, he knew the waitress's name, he knew the hostess's name, he would call him sugar. Like there was always this thing where whatever atmosphere he went into, he knew the people and the people knew him. And so he made them feel warm and invited into his space.
I love that.
And I love that. I love that. So I think that's always been a core value because it was modeled for me to just recognize who's in front of you and not live in this myopic sort of mindset where it's all about me. I'm not seeing anyone. I got to do what I got to do, you know? And also too, I think everyone should always reflect back and look at who imparted that into my life? You know, all the way back to like, I had a second grade teacher who, room number 2, Mrs. Phillips, you know, she had me over to her home for dinner, and I will never forget that. I remember her perfume. I remember what she wore, you know, and those are those moments in time where they have great impact.
Absolutely.
And so we should always, as people, walk that out for the people around us. We should always reflect back at the positive things of how people have impacted us and take those moments and do that for others as well.
Yeah. And I think we're all saying it, but I think what's so beautiful about that, doing that and really valuing people and seeing them is that even if they're not doing it for you, right? Even if you're not experiencing that, like there's power.
Yes.
There's a powerful exchange going on in the kingdom when we do that. You know, there's something that's shifting not only in our own hearts, but actually I feel like opening up opportunities for greater favor and for the Lord for that moment, because it will come back around. You know, it's like give what you need. You know, it's a kingdom principle. Like give to others the very thing that you are asking for, because he will do that for you. It comes back around. So I think you can't, you know, it's that whole can't outgive God. Like we can't outgive God in this space. Like we can't, give away enough love and kindness and valuing and calling people out and seeing them, in those spaces and valuing who they are, regardless of what they're doing or who they are in your world. You just are valuing them because of they're in front of you and you see them and you let them know that. That's beautiful.
My grandfather always used to say, it's the famous old thing, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Right. And he would end it with darling.
Aww.
Because that is the truth. It's like, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We have to live by that. If we do not, we're missing something. We're missing a key element in life. And even when you don't feel like it, do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you can be the one that unlocks the gold in somebody else. Yeah. Maybe somebody's never had anybody believe in them, and you can be the one that unlocks that for them.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I know, and see a dream realized, right?
Yes.
For them, or see them launch, into a place or into a career or into a business or into just a dream of their heart.
Yes.
That is the greatest joy ever, to be able to do that with people.
Right. Well, I always say, when your dreams come alive, mine do too.
Absolutely.
That's good.
And that's the reflection of our heart. I know we all feel that way about each other, and Heather too. She's not here to speak for herself, but when your dreams come alive, mine do too.
Yes.
And so I just want to encourage everyone to just find those moments, reflect back, who imparted belief into your life.
Yes.
Focus on those things. Focus on the good things of life, and impart those to the people around you.
Yes.
You will be glad you did. You'll be glad that you imparted goodness and hope and belief into others.
Yeah.
So this is another episode of Around the Table. We're so glad you came to visit with us. We love to hear your comments. We love to hear your feedback, anything you want to share with us, a goodness in your life, a belief in your life, something you need for us to pray for. We're happy to do that. Link it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us. We love you all.
Bye.
Bye.